The hollow arcade on the Interstellar Council Station Sanctuary was a marvel of galactic unity. Or at least, that's how the Council liked to frame it. Representatives of countless species wandered its glowing halls, their voices mingling into a symphony of languages. The heart of the arcade was a celebration of technological achievement, a display of games and simulations designed to entertain and educate the galaxy's brightest minds. But in a secluded corner, under the pulsating glow of a holographic dome, the mood was anything but celebratory. Two figures stood on the cusp of battle, their rivalry simmering just below the surface. On one side, Captain Mara Voss leaned casually against her console, her sharp green eyes scanning the holographic display. Mara carried herself with the confidence of a Death Worlder, humanity's unofficial title in the galaxy. Earth was a crucible of extremes, its violent storms, apex predators, and tectonic volatility shaping a species that thrived on survival. Mara embodied that unyielding adaptability, but there was a haunted weight in her posture, a testament to the brutal wars humanity had fought to claim its place among the stars. Opposite her stood Lysira Veyrail, poised with an almost regal grace. The Livrian tactician radiated an air of calculated precision. Her people had once been shepherded to greatness by an elder species, inheriting technology and culture that placed them at the pinnacle of the galactic stage. The Livrian ascendancy was a civilization of elegance, its history rich with triumphs that outpaced humanity's by millennia. But those triumphs included scars that flickered faintly in Lysira's steady gaze as she regarded Mara. Their peoples had been locked in war for decades, a conflict born of humanity's explosive expansion into what the Livrian considered their sovereign space. The armistice that followed was tenuous at best. For Mara and Lysira, the scars of that war were personal, and though the Council mandated peace, the tension between them was palpable. The game was Stellaris 3, New Age, humanity's unexpected cultural gift to the galaxy. Originally designed as a sophisticated RTS to simulate humanity's own history of conflict and cooperation, it had grown into something much greater. By integrating data from galactic archives, human developers created a universe that mirrored the realities of interstellar politics, war, and exploration. The game allowed players to recreate their civilizations down to the smallest cultural detail. The Livrian Ascendancy's signature sleek aesthetics, hierarchical structure, and technological superiority were faithfully rendered. The Terran Coalition, by contrast, was a testament to human pragmatism, rugged colonies and fleets designed to function under pressure. The galaxy itself brimmed with echoes of the real world, including dormant threats like rogue AIs, ancient plagues, and most chillingly, the Xianqiye Swarm, a bioweapon scourge unleashed centuries ago during a long-forgotten war. Mara selected the Terran Coalition, assembling a faction that prioritized rapid adaptability and resource efficiency. Lysira sculpted the Livrian Ascendancy, carefully recreating her people's cultural and scientific prowess. The simulation unfolded as a sprawling holographic galaxy, star systems and planets emerging like constellations in a void. Early expansion was methodical. Mara seeded her frontier with colonies, mining stations, and trade hubs. Lysira focused on centralized growth, her polished colonies gleaming with cultural and scientific advancement. Their initial clashes were small but intense. Fleets danced in the void as each tested the other's limits. Mara's strategies were bold and aggressive. Her modular fleets, built for versatility, punched through Lysira's borders, probing weak points. But Lysira's defense was precise, her fleets exploiting choke points and gravitational anomalies with elegant efficiency. "You humans rush too much," Lysira remarked after deflecting one of Mara's attacks. "You burn brightly but briefly." "And you Livrian hold on to old grudges too tightly," Mara shot back, smirking as her covert operatives disrupted Lysira's carefully laid trade routes. "It's why you can't see past your own reflection." Despite their animosity, the game revealed an underlying truth. Both were brilliant tacticians. Mara's adaptability forced Lysira to think faster than her usual deliberate pace, while Lysira's foresight and calculated strikes challenged Mara to refine her chaotic approach. As the game reached a tense stalemate, Mara leaned back, her expression thoughtful. "We've hit a plateau," she murmured half to herself. "This is when it happens." Lysira frowned. "When what happens?" Before Mara could answer, the holo display flashed red. A system on the galaxy's edge went dark, then another, And another. The Xianqiye swarm had arrived. Lysira's face paled, her composed mask slipping. The Xianqiye were no mere simulation to her. They were a chapter of Livrian history rarely spoken of, a nightmare from a bygone age. A bioweapon engineered by a forgotten empire, the Xianqiye had once devastated Livrian space, consuming worlds and fleets before being contained at a tremendous cost. "You knew," Lysira accused, her voice tight. "I suspected," Mara admitted. "The devs programmed stuff like this to trigger when things get too comfortable," Lysira scoffed. "Comfortable? You call this comfortable?" The swarm spread rapidly, consuming unclaimed systems and threatening both their empires. Lysira hesitated, her memories of past horrors clouding her judgment. Mara, however, was already in motion. "Truce," Mara said firmly, her voice cutting through Lysira's unease. "We handle this together or we're both done." Lysira nodded reluctantly. Mara's rugged fleets became the vanguard, intercepting the swarm and absorbing their initial onslaught. Lysira's advanced weapons, deployed from a safe distance, struck with surgical precision, exploiting weaknesses in the swarm's hive minds. "You fight differently than I expected," Lysira said, as their fleets pushed the swarm back. "Better or worse?" Mara asked, grinning despite herself. "Better," Lysira admitted, her voice softening. "Efficient. Not barbaric. Thanks, I think." The final battle against the swarm was a masterpiece of cooperation. Mara's adaptability and Lysira's precision meshed seamlessly, their combined forces obliterating the Xianqiye hive ships. When the last swarm vessel disintegrated, the galaxy fell silent. The simulation dimmed, leaving only the two women standing amid the holographic wreckage. Mara exhaled, leaning back in her chair. "Well, I didn't expect that." Lysira gave a small nod, a rare flicker of warmth crossing her otherwise cool expression. "Your adaptability is tolerable," Mara smirked, extending a hand. "And your meticulousness is almost charming." Lysira hesitated, then clasped the hand briefly. "You would make a decent sub-commander," Mara chuckled. "Funny. I was thinking you'd make a good adjutant." As they walked out of the dome side by side, the crowd dispersed, leaving the arcade to its usual chaos. "You know," Mara said, glancing at Lysira, "if you ever want a rematch, I'll be here. Just don't bring that smug superiority next time." Lysira raised an elegant eyebrow. "And deprive you of something to rage against? Perish the thought." The two women parted ways, a fragile but undeniable respect lingering between them. In the heart of Sanctuary, the seeds of understanding took root, nurtured by an unlikely bond forged in the fires of a digital battlefield.